Okay, so as promised, I told you all that I'd be responding to some of the comments that I've gotten on my page, and today is the day of reckoning for the Y2K collector, where he has to answer to some of his subscribers or just those who've posted comments. Now, for the most part, I've gotten a lot of positive responses, very appreciative of just everyone who's, responded to the channel, who's left comments, who's been, just supporting the channel. So super huge shout out to you. And also shout out to those of you who have shot me some challenging questions or maybe posed some challenging comments. I love it. I love the questions, the probing, and I'll be as transparent as I can. Let's be honest, or let's remember, folks, let's be smart. This is the internet. So I don't think anyone is going to be completely transparent on the internet. And if you're gullible enough to believe that what you see on the internet is real, then get off the internet, right? Because about 50 to 70% of what you're seeing on the internet is not real. So as I always say, and as I've said in past videos, there is a real life out there. So you got to go live it. Do not fall victim or get trapped in this internet bubble thinking that that is real life, because it's not. But enough on that. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one comment. Now, I wanted to go all the way back, and maybe I'll go further back in later videos. But I really just kind of wanted to touch on some of the comments that I've gotten, say, in the last month, just because those are the most recent. Those are probably the most fresh. And those are probably folks who have been watching the channel. So I feel like I owe it to them to kind of respond to them first. So we've got one comment here. We're going to go ahead and start off with this one. And this is a very simple one. Where you from, dog? And that was from Ustav Official. So Ustav, I am from New York, from the state of New York. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're really not going to get many details about where I'm from. I'm not about to tell everyone where I'm from. I'm from New York, but I've lived all over the country, traveled all over the country, and I have addresses all over the country. So yes, and that's just been the nature of my career and what I do. So but I am New York based at the moment. So if you see a lot of New York stuff in my videos, it's because for the moment that's where I am based out of. So all my New York folks, stand up. If you're from New York, shout out to you. We're gonna go ahead and keep on going now. So I do get a common one. I'm kind of scrolling through this here. So here goes a comment. And this was on a video that I posted a while back, which was titled, "I sold my video games to start an Airbnb business." So if you never saw that video, go ahead and check that one out. That's where I kind of just outline a lot of the games that I sold a couple of years ago to start an Airbnb. But this comment comes from Artnap. I guess Artnap, I'm not sure. 3653 rather. And so he asks, "You've regretted ever since?" I'm not really sure if that's a question or if that's a statement, but I'm gonna assume he's asking me if I regret selling my video games to start an Airbnb business. Absolutely not. I don't regret it at all, because one, a lot of the games that I sold, I didn't have a ton of attachment to, so it wasn't a huge loss to me. But the benefit of starting that Airbnb was I was able to do a lot of renovations that I was going to need to do in that portion of my house anyway. So I felt like it was a good investment. I was able to basically do a full renovation, brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, the whole 9 yards. So that was great for me. Those are games that, I can always get at any time. But I felt like it was a good investment. And to be honest, the Airbnb was doing very well when I was running it. Now, New York did implement a law where you weren't allowed to do short-term rentals. But since then they've been issuing licenses, short-term rental licenses for those who actually have and run an Airbnb. And so that's something that's on the way. But I haven't really been entertaining guests just because usually around the winter months, I like having my house to myself, especially around the holidays, Christmas, things like that. So it hasn't been a ton of that. But to answer your question, no, I don't regret it at all. It was a great investment for me, and I'm sure everyone who got those games that I sold them to are enjoying them now. So it was a win-win all around. Okay, keeping it going here. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to find some of the more spicier comments. You know, I've gotten a few spicy ones. Okay, here's one. Here's a good one. This one comes from Pyros Pang 9091. This is a video game that, this is from a video that I put out a long time ago titled 15 Games That Show the Power of Sony's First Handheld Console. And that was basically me showing some of my favorite PSP games. And in this one, we got a comment from Spyro Spang, and he says, show some gameplay, dude. So I would love to be able to show gameplay all the time for, you know, the games that I play, and you know, just to be able to kind of share that with you. But it's just a lot harder than it seems. I mean, I know that there are a ton of channels who just have like great gameplay for all the games that they show. How they do it, I don't know. But I don't have anyone editing my videos for me. So I do all of my editing alone. I film all of the footage that you see. It's my voice that you hear in the videos. There's zero help coming in on this. And again, this is a hobby, right? So I really try to put my best foot forward in making quality videos. You know, outside of obviously, you know, the run and gun style videos that I do when I'm just trying to drop a video on the fly. But I really try to, especially in 2024, I've been doing my best to try to just pump up the quality for anyone watching my videos, because you're giving me your time, and time is a precious commodity. So for anyone who's, you know, coming to the channel and watching what I'm putting out, super appreciative of that. And I just want to kind of give you good quality. Unfortunately, gameplay footage is hard to source. It's hard to download and capture and, you know, incorporate in a video. It would really, adding gameplay footage would like quadruple my editing time, and for me, I don't have it. So unfortunately, adding gameplay footage right now isn't possible, but hopefully as the channel grows, if we can fit it into the budget, hopefully I can get a video editor who can do that for me. So that is the goal. But until then, I appreciate you watching, Pyros, and appreciate the comment down there. It's truly appreciated. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and keep on going some of these comments here. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, so okay, so we have another cool comment here. This one comes from Red Crimson 1028, and this one says, you're wrong. The GameCube had internet. It had an internet adapter, and Phantasy Star was online for it. And so there were a few comments back and forth between him and a few other commenters on the page, but his comment was in response to a video that I posted entitled "The PS2 versus the GameCube Debate: Which Retro Console Reigns Supreme Over 20 Years Later." And I think I made the statement that there really wasn't any internet support for the GameCube. So that's probably what he was saying I was wrong about. So Red Crimson, you're right. I was wrong. The GameCube did have internet capability, but when I think about a console having the capability of doing something and then like actually having the usable capability, meaning it's something that people actually used consistently, we never saw that on the GameCube. If you ask probably 100,000 people, how many of the, like 100,000 people who owned the GameCube, how many times they went online with it, I'd be shocked if you found more than 1,000 people that said they went online with the GameCube. And if I'm absolutely wrong on this, please let me know down in the comments. But I had a GameCube when it first came out. I remember when my mom bought me the black GameCube, and I got Star Fox Adventures with it. And sure, Nintendo had a bunch of adapters. They had the Game Boy Advance adapter, a bunch of things, but you never were really thinking about the GameCube online like that. Like most people weren't. I think you probably thought about the PlayStation 2 first back then, and then maybe the Dreamcast or the Xbox before you thought about the GameCube. That could just be me, and that could have just been in the circles that I grew up in. But that's why in my mind, like, there really wasn't any real internet support for it. Like, yeah, it was there. Yeah, you could get online. But to me, getting online with the GameCube back then was probably just as exciting as it would be getting online with the GameCube now, because there's really no one on it. And I don't think anyone really cared about going online with the GameCube. That wasn't the selling point of the GameCube. The selling point of the GameCube was all of the Mario games and being able to see Mario for the first time in crystal clear 3D, because we did see 3D Mario in Super Mario 64, and that's a classic, right? Like, everyone's gonna remember Mario 64 till Kingdom Come. But when you saw Mario Sunshine, when you saw that version of Mario, a very detailed 3D version of Mario, you'd never seen Mario like that before. And I think the GameCube was like the last great leap in 3D fidelity. I didn't see a huge difference between like GameCube footage and Wii footage, or like Switch footage steps it up for sure. Like Switch, like the graphics on the Switch are leaps and bounds better than, like, you know, the Wii or the GameCube. But that generation, like the between like the GameCube, the Wii, and like the Wii U, like there wasn't really like this amazing jump in graphics, at least not to me. But I'm going off on a tangent. To answer your question, Red Crimson, yes, I was wrong. I'm sorry. But I appreciate folks like you letting me know that I'm wrong and then putting it down there so that other folks can get the truth. So that's definitely an appreciated comment. So thank you, Red Crimson. We're going to keep it going here. Take a look at some more comments. Let's see what we got here. So let's see. We got another one from Josh Mobyjohn. He says, "Great video, man. Gameplay would have made it a lot better." I know. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Be patient with me. Hopefully soon enough, I can get maybe an editor in here and someone to start editing these videos for me. All right, we're gonna find another comment here rather. So here's a comment on a video that I did. This video did pretty well. It was the ultimate list of the top 60 Nintendo Switch 2D action side-scrolling and beat 'em up games. And that was my list, right? That was my ultimate list. I think I had 60 awesome Switch games. Bulk of those I still have in my collection. A lot of those were the ones that I kept. But this comment comes from Dewang Shah 95. And he says, "Could you please do 3D platformers?" Well, Dewang, I did that. I think I did one for the 3D hack and slash. I think there's a video out on that, and I put one out not long after that video. So I answered that for you. Go ahead and jump on my page there on YouTube, and you will find that video. Enjoy, my friend. Here's another one right behind it. It says, "Do you have Hunt Down? I just added it to my collection this year with Cuphead and Iconoclast." So, and that was from Osarimi2462. So yes, Osarimi, I do have Hunt Down. I actually have the special edition of Hunt Down both on the PS4 and the GameCube. The reason why I have the special edition of those is because that was one of the few games released on the Switch and PS4 that actually came with an action figure. So if you get the special edition version of Hunt Down, in the box you're going to get an action figure of one of the three main characters. I think it's like a cyborg, a dude with like some killer sideburns, and then this lady that reminds me of the lady from RoboCop 2, black lady from RoboCop 2. That's who that lady reminds me of for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, so I do have that. I also have Cuphead. I think I have Cuphead on the PS4, and I do have Iconoclast on the Switch as well. So yes, you named some 3 awesome titles there, sir, and I do have those. Thank you for the question. Here's another one. I'll just hit this one as well. So this is from Sleepy Twig Gaming, sorry. Whew. And it says, "You should pick up Overlord for the Switch, a great Metroidvania." I haven't heard of that one. Maybe I will check it out. Just never heard of that one, but I will check it out if I ever get the chance. All right, let's keep it going. Here's a good one. This is from Zazie77, and he says, all sealed, huh? And that was in response to the same video, the ultimate list of top 60 Nintendo Switch 2D action side-scrolling games. So he's probably referring to the fact that a lot of the games in that video were still sealed. And yes, a lot of those games are still sealed. Some people, you know, when they buy video games, they like to double up. They buy one that they can open, and then they buy one that they can stock and store, I guess, to, you know, keep in their reservation or, you know, save up or whatever the case may be. I just found it easier to wait for some of the, because a lot of those 2D games, right, like those 2D platform games, when they go on sale on the Switch eShop, those games sometimes are as low as $1.99, $2.99, $3.99. You can find them for dirt cheap, unless they're like a AAA title. But most of those like indie games, they're super cheap on the eShop. So it just makes more sense for me, if I do want to keep the game sealed, to buy it. And if I want to keep it sealed, then I'll just go download it for like $1.99 on the Nintendo eShop and play it that way to get the experience. Now, that's not what I always do. Sometimes, you know, I'll buy a game based on the gameplay footage that I see on YouTube or wherever I can see the gameplay footage. And yeah, I'll put it on the shelf knowing in the back of my mind, okay, eventually I'm going to get to this. So when you're buying a lot of games at one time, it's impossible to sit down and play them all unless you're like 10 years old and you don't really have anything else to do. Then you could definitely do it then. I mean, for sure, you could play your heart out. But you're going to start to realize that as you get older and responsibilities kick in, you have to balance your time. And so, yes, I do have a backlog. Some of my games are still sealed, especially with my Switch games. But that also is a big part of the reason why I decided to sell a lot of my Switch games, for that very reason, realizing that, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to get to this backlog. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of these. It's probably better for me to just keep the ones that I really want to get to at some point and sell off the ones that I know I won't be able to attack. So yes, a lot of them are sealed, and a lot of the sealed ones have been sold. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing a big bulk sale in a couple weeks, so I'll have some footage on that as well. All right, so here's a good one. This commenter, so this is from Adrian Panetto. So Adrian Panetto asked me, he said, how many Switch games do you actually own? Geez, I mean, I could try looking at GameEye, but I don't think I've updated my actual collection on GameEye just because of how much I've been selling. But if I had to guesstimate, I would probably say I have around 100 to 120 Switch games. And that's a big drop. I mean, at one point I was probably touching close to 400 Switch games. So I've really sold off a huge chunk of my Switch collection over the past couple years. And a lot of that has gone to different things. Like I said, some of it went to the Airbnb that I started up. Some of it went into buying older consoles that I never would have thought I'd have been able to own, like a Neo Geo AES. So it's just been spread out across the board. But to answer your question, Adrian, at this stage of the game, it's roughly about 120. All right, let's keep it going here. Let's see. So we're just going to keep on going down the line here. All right, so here's a spicy one. And I love these comments. I love what these types of comments. So this came from J Manuel Villayobos 4971. And Jay, if I mispronounce that, don't be mad. I'm sorry. But Jay said, this dude sounds like such a poser who decided to make a channel about retro gaming and spouting misinformation. Two thumbs way down. And then underneath that, we had Sebastianic. Wait, is that? No. I don't even know how to say it. Sebastianic, I think that's it. Sebastianic 1110. He commented underneath that and put agreed. So here are two gentlemen or gentlewomen, whatever the case may be, who feel like I'm a poser. I might be a poser. I might be. I don't know what the definition of a poser within the context of video games would be. I don't know. I don't know if I was supposed to go to school for this and graduate with a degree. I don't know if there's a certain amount of like logged video game playing hours that would make me not a poser. I don't know if there's a certain amount of games I should own that would make me not a poser. Like I don't know what the rules are to being an official like video game connoisseur. I don't know if there's anything like that, but here's what I do know. I do know that I grew up playing video games as a kid. I grew up watching my brothers play video games as a kid. Video games for me, especially as a child in the 90s, and especially as a child in the 90s in the hood, when there's a lot of bad things going on outside, video games help me stay inside, help me stay safe, help me stay off the streets, and help me explore a world of imagination that I would not have had it not been for video games. So here now in my adult years, where I find myself with a little bit of disposable income, and the pressures of life are blazing at, you know, when you get older and you take on responsibility, and that's my squeaky floor, sorry about that. But when you get older and you take on responsibilities, you don't have as much time because people are depending on you. You have a family that's depending on you. You may have children who are depending on you. You may have employees who are depending on you. And so things just change. You know, your priorities change, but it doesn't mean that the love that you have for video games dies. No, it just means that now you have other things that you have to do. So I may not be as sharp as I was when I was, 12 years old. I may not know all the moves. I may not know all the details about a game. I may not know who created the game or who the developers are or what the inspiration was. I may not know the full backstory. But what I do know is that the game looks freaking awesome. It looks great. It looks like a really good looking game, and it looks like I'll have a lot of fun with it. And honestly, that's all I need to know, right? Like all I need to know is if I like it or not. And if I like it, it's mine. If I don't like it anymore, then it's gone. And then all the details can work themselves out. So to you, Jay Manuela, I'll leave it to video game scholars like yourself to correct me whenever I'm wrong. And if you do happen to watch any of my future videos, please feel free to comment down below. Let me know how wrong I am and correct me, and then let the audience know the truth, because the truth will set us all free. Thank you for that comment. All right, so we're going to go ahead and keep on going down here with these comments. Let's see what we've got here. We'll do a few more because I feel like I've been doing this for a while now. I don't want to spend my whole afternoon talking about this, but yeah, okay. So here goes a cool one. Here's one, right? This is from Black Brawley. So Black Brawley asks, how much is your entire collection worth? Rough estimate. Mine's worth 45K. Wow. And then underneath that, you've got Foxtrot, who says mine is worth 46K. So we've got some ballers out here. All right, we've got some ballers out here. Black Broly, I really don't honestly know what the value of my collection is these days, because I want to say once I started selling and just really focusing on keeping what I like and what I want, I stopped keeping a tally of what my personal collection is worth. Now, I do need to know the value of the games that I'm selling, obviously, so I don't shortchange myself. So I'm aware of game prices in general, and if I don't know the price of a game, I know how to ascertain what the general price of a game should be. But I don't really keep tally of what my collection is worth, to be honest with you. But if you want a number, because that's, you're like, bro, you're doing all this talking, just give me a number. If you want a raw, rough number, I would say probably somewhere between 60 and 65, maybe. And that's not just games, right? That's me including the games, my consoles, the controllers, the cords, because believe it or not, cords can be really expensive. Go ask someone who has a TurboGrafx console with no power cord how much cords cost, right? Like, go ask someone who has an original Neo Geo with no Neo Geo power cord and ask them how much cords cost. Cords can be very expensive at times. Controllers can be incredibly expensive at times depending on the controller. Like right now, the only control, and I know I keep saying the Neo Geo, but I'm just referencing it because it's easy to reference. Right now, the only controllers that I have for my AES are the old school, like joystick style, like the big ones. And I'm looking for the smaller like handheld controller, just because that controller is a little easier for me to play like shoot 'em ups on the AES. But trying to get one of those controllers right now is like $100. So I give you that number including everything, not just the games, but that's my entire collection. If I told Chase after the right price to come pick up all my games, he'd have to come with a decent sized U-Haul to pack it all up, but it would all roughly come out to around 60, 65. Hope that answers your question there, Black Broly. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it going here. Let's see, what other ones do we have? We've had some cool ones. Loving the content, dude, by Game Junction Media. Shout out to you, Game Junction Media. Thank you for the love. I honestly, I haven't jumped on your channel yet, but when you share love like that, it makes me want to go jump on and see what's going on. So thank you, Game Junction Media, for the love. Let's go ahead and keep it going. Let's see what else we got. Merry Christmas, bro. That was a few weeks ago from PH111 HUD 0. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, my man. Keeping it going. Let's see. All right, another Merry Christmas. These are all from around the holidays because I'm going a month back. Let's see. Here goes one. So we've got one from Ninja Cape. And this was in response to a post that I put up. This is actually not a video. Around Christmas, I took a photo underneath my Christmas tree with like a Sega Genesis, a Super Nintendo, and all of the iconic games that I just remember from Christmas back in the day. And so I got this comment from Ninja Cape. He says 91 to 94 were some of my favorite Christmases. And then underneath that, you have, I don't know how to say this is a lot. So it says Izo Hume Hi. I can't pronounce that name. I'm sorry. But underneath there's a comment. It says 90, 91 to 97 were my best Christmases. So let me think. So 90, if you're talking 90 to 97, sheesh. So that means you're talking about the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, N64, Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, those years probably hold the most nostalgia for everyone my age at this point. I don't really know how many people care about the Atari, and to be quite honest with you, I think the love for the NES is falling to the wayside too, because if you were around in the NES heyday, you're probably in your like 50s now. They're 50s, 60s, and those folks definitely aren't playing games like that. So my generation is probably the generation with the most disposable income at this point in time to purchase their games that they played when they were a kid, which makes sense, right? Because if you're thinking 90, that's like 33 years ago, 34 years ago, 90, 89, 90. Yeah, so, you know, that's a sweet spot. Anything between 23 and 30 years ago is going to hold a lot of nostalgia for you, because that was when you were a kid and you were enjoying it. So, I mean, look, the 90s were filled with a lot of things for me, not just video games. I mean, like I said, I'm from New York and I grew up in the hood. So, but video games definitely were a great escape at that time. So, love that comment. Thank you, Ninja Cape. Appreciate it. Good stuff. Let's keep it going here. I'm going to do a few more. So let's see. So I didn't take the Game Boy Advance seriously when it came out, because to me the system was just a portable Super Nintendo with a non-backlit screen. The original Game Boy beaten the other handhelds due to Nintendo's shady business practices of preventing companies releasing their most popular games on other systems. It was the same with the Neo Geo Pocket. To me, it was the other version of the Sega GameCube with a non-backlit screen. To be honest, the N gauge stuck out with having a backlit screen and being able to use it as a phone. Wow, that came from Chris Barfield 83. Thank you, Chris, for a lot of insight. And he made that comment on a video that I posted where I compared the Game Boy Advanced or the Game Boy Advance handheld consoles to the Analog Pocket. He dropped a lot of data right here that needs to be broken down. Thank you for the comment. To me, I didn't really get that deep into it in terms of knowing about Nintendo's shady practices, but I'll say this. I mean, you know, when it comes to business, we live in a capitalistic society, folks. And any way that, you know, companies or businesses can get a one up, they're going to get a one up. Obviously, things like monopolies aren't allowed, but there are other ways that you can dominate the market. And I'm sure that Nintendo did a lot of things to dominate the market. Probably some things that folks wouldn't be too happy about, but history is history, right? What's in the past is in the past. And now we all look back and see it for what it is. In terms of backlit screens, look, I had an original Game Boy back in the day, and I played that thing all day and all night long. You know, I remember playing that thing with barely any light. And I don't know, just in the 90s, where there was a will, there was a way, you know, backlit screen and no backlit screen. As a matter of fact, I remember when my cousins got a Game Gear, that thing was definitely backlit, but I mean, it wasn't beating the Game Boy. I mean, even with all the great colors and the backlit screen, the Game Gear still couldn't compete with the Game Boy. So it's just Nintendo has a way of creating these experiences for people that other companies just can't, and I think that's why they've won. That's why they've always won. They just know how to do it. Let's keep it going. This is from Mezel29. Loving your content, man. Always looking forward to your videos. Thank you. Appreciate that. Love the support. Appreciate all that. Let's see here. We're going to go through a few more. Here. Let's see. Let's see if there's any other spicy ones, any other spicy comments from folks calling me a poser or a loser. Let's see. So I did put out a video asking if one of my Jordans were fake. So that's funny. I don't really post a lot of videos about sneakers, but I am into sneakers. I'm into working. I'm into a lot of things, right? But this channel was made this channel is based mostly around video games. So that's what a lot of my content is about. But I like to share those other sides of life just because, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, as gamers, we get so caught up in the games that we forget about the other aspects of life. There's real life. Go live it. But this commenter said, any shoe you get from them, so you have no worries on them with confidence. So this was in response to me asking if the pair of Air Jordan 1 Lost and Founds that I had purchased were real or not. Over Christmas, I wanted to do a family photo, so I bought myself and everyone in my family a pair of Air Jordan 11 Gratitudes. So, you know, my lady's Gratitudes, hers were clean, the bottoms were silky smooth. My daughters were great, but mine, the ones I got, had like the bottoms were yellow, and I was like, why are these bottoms yellow? And so it turns out that I had gotten a pair from overseas. They weren't fake, but it was just that, you know, they were from overseas. So I guess there's this thing where the ones that were made overseas have a yellowish bottom, and the ones in America or stateside had a more milky bottom. So underneath that, I got a commenter who says, bro, Flight Club is one of the highest respected in the shoe game. They are good at shoe checking, and the only time I've had an issue with them was when they gave me a pair of shoes, but was a different size. So I guess he's only had sizing issues. Look, sneakers aren't really that serious to me. And if I'm gonna buy like a highly coveted shoe, I'm gonna buy it from a place that will check it, because I don't know how to check if sneakers are real or not. I'm just not that into it. I guess that makes me a poser, right? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate Flight Club, the work that they do, and that's where I got the sneakers. So thank you both for confirming with me that my sneakers were real. I'm gonna do one more. There's so many comments, I can't get through them all, but I'm gonna go through just one more maybe here for you. So let's see. Okay, battery died, had to change it out. All right, so we're gonna go through a couple more of these here. So had a comment here from what looks like Alice Kick, and she says, Collab, how to contact you. So unfortunately, I'm not doing any collabs right now. I'm not in a position to do any collabs, just don't have the time. You know, like I said, I barely have the time to get this in. It just so happened that because it's so cold outside, we're not really able to, I mean, we can, but we just don't want to brave that cold. It's really, really cold. So if you haven't gone outside, don't do it. It's really not worth it. But today we had some time. I had some time to go ahead and sit down and just kind of go through some of these. So right now I'm just not in a position to do any collabs. If you're wanting to do some, and I don't really know what you mean by collab, like if it involves any type of meetup or anything like that, I'm definitely not doing anything like that. But if you want to do something virtual, you know, if you want to talk, if you want to connect with me, if you want me to join some type of online panel via Zoom, I'm willing to do that. If there's anything that you all notice, I don't show my face. So if you want to collab, you have to be happy with this voice because it's all you're going to get on a collab. How to contact me? The best way to contact me is right here. So if you want me to, if you want to do something, you want to reach out, just drop your email in the comments, and when I get a chance, I'll reach back out to you. Do not be offended if I do not contact you back right away. Please do not get in your feelings. Don't feel like, oh, this guy's a jerk, he doesn't like me, he says reach out. I'm letting you know right now, time is a precious commodity for me, and YouTube is something that I do for fun. It's not my job, but I am willing to network, and I am willing to do some things online or do something virtually. So let me know. Again, if you're going to collab with me, just know that the best you're going to get out of me is the voice that you're hearing right now. I'm not doing any meetups, you know, collab videos, nothing like that. But yeah, that answers that question. All right, so keeping it going here, like I said, just a couple more. Let's see what we got. I know I've gotten some good ones recently. Let's see what we've gotten in the last few days. Okay, so I gotta give this guy a shout out. So shout out to the 90s Handheld Gamer. 90s Handheld Gamer has commented on so many of my videos. I really like this dude because he's just commenting because he either wants to share information or he's just kind of spreading positivity. So shout out to you, 90s Handheld Gamer. He left a comment on one of my videos where I said, let's be honest. And if you haven't seen that video, go check that out. But he says, I ended up getting rid of some of the fluff in my Switch collection to trade for some GameCube games that I really wanted. I think with the Switch especially, a lot of people got caught the collecting bug. So 90s Handheld Gamer, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. And I would even say that I got caught up in that. I think probably back in 2021, I was definitely caught up in the Switch collecting hype. And it's just so easy because they produce so many games for this thing. There's so many games coming out. You have so many companies. Okay, you got the games coming from Best Buy, GameStop, you got Walmart and Target. But then on top of that, you have so many of these indie developers making games for the Switch. You got Pixel Heart games, Strictly Limited games, Limited Run games, Super Rare games, First Edition games, Special Reserve games, Nicalis. I mean, geez, should I go on? You got East Asia Soft. You've got so many different companies making these Switch games that it's easy to get caught up in it. And but I don't think that's the wave. I really, like, I had to catch myself and say, bro, this is not the wave. The one thing that I'm glad for is that I've been able to offload a lot of those Switch games and get out of them what I wanted before it got to where we are now, where it's like survival mode. And folks are just, you know, they're entering survival mode. If they're not in survival mode yet, they're entering there, and they're trying to figure out how to keep collecting because just things aren't as easy as they used to be. So thank you, 90s Handheld Gamer. Great comment. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Keeping it going here. Maybe two more, and then we're done. 2 more comments, and then we're done. And I want to pull something from I want to pull 2 from the last week. So let's see what comments we have here. Let's do Earthling. So Earthling 247. He says, I assume you are moving these in a bulk sale somewhere. If you sell somewhere like eBay or similar, could you post your seller info? You have really built a healthy collection of interesting Switch games. So Earthling, thank you for that. I appreciate the comment. Very thoughtful comment, very balanced comment. Thank you for that. Yes, I was very selective. When I was building my Switch collection, I was very selective. I didn't want to buy trash. I didn't want to buy crap. And that's just me in general. Like I don't like buying whack things. I don't know. I don't know who does. But, and I like to think that I have a good taste level. But you know, you ask some other people, they'll say I'm a poser, but I don't know how much skill is required in picking video games. Like how much skill do you really need? But anyway, I do sell in bulk because it's easier for me to sell in bulk, but I do not do online transactions. I do not do Facebook meetups. I do not do any type of meetups. And I do have some online accounts. I don't think I have what did I used to have? I used to have Let Go or whatever the case may be. I do have an eBay store, but I seldom post on there just because what I've learned in selling online is that let's just do some raw numbers. So let's say you can sell, let's say right now you had $1,000 worth of Switch games that you wanted to sell. And you said, okay, I'm going to sell these on Mercari. And you feel personally like you should be able to get $1,000 before any fees or anything for those games. Well, once you sell those games, right? Let's just use Mercari as an example. Mercari is going to take about 15% of that. So you're already down to $850 on that, right? And then, you know, there's the time factor in that, right? There's time value. So let's say to sell those $1,000 worth of games on Mercari takes you 2 to 3 weeks. And let's just say it takes you on average, I don't know, two hours a day, committing to the packaging, the posting, the selling, the driving to the post office, dropping it off, all this, that, and the third. What I've come to kind of guesstimate, and I'm using the word guesstimate because these aren't hard figures. For me, when I sell games online, I'm usually selling selling online usually takes about a 25% chunk out of whatever the market value for the games would be. So if I had $1,000 worth of games, when I sell it online, after the fees, shipping, and time value, I've lost about 25% of the value. So to me, if I can go to a store that's willing to offer me 70% of whatever the value is, whatever the market value is, to me, I'm willing to take that 5% hit for the ease of getting it all done in one shot. And luckily for me, I do know I am in an area where there are stores that do buy in bulk. So for the sake of anonymity, no, I'm not going to be linking my online stores to my YouTube. I'm going to keep those two separate just because I don't sell enough online to really want to drive that type of traffic to my online store. I do appreciate you digging the games that I have. And yeah, I mean, my best bet would just be once I've shown them to you and now that you know that they're in existence, I'm sure there's plenty of sellers that you could buy those games from. Prices are dropping, so you should be able to get a lot of those games at a really great price. But no, I don't have an online store that I can share, and no, I don't do meetups. But thank you for the comment there. All right, we're going to find one more comment to respond to, and then we're going to get on out of here. So let's find a good one. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. What do we got? Let's see. So, man, this is tough because I don't want to waste this last one. I kind of want to get a good one here. And I'm going to find something super recent. So let's see if we can find something. Okay. Here's one. Here's a good one. We're going to end on this one. So this question comes from Robbie Burns, 3564. So thank you, Robbie. So he asks, real question. Do you think you're collecting as some kind of obsession or compulsion, or are you actually playing them? With the PS4 era, I found I was buying games, especially on sales, more so than I was playing them. I'd play them a bit, but then with my busy adult schedule, I couldn't invest much time, but yet I still would buy others after. With PS5, I've decided to be more conservative and buy what I can play. Awesome question, Robbie Burns 3564. Thank you for that. I thought it was a really thoughtful question that he asked there. To answer your question, I think I probably went through a phase like that. If I'm going to be transparent, I think I went through that phase, but I think that phase probably hit me more so closer to the pandemic than now. I was probably in that phase for probably about 7 to 8 months until real life slapped me in the face and I realized, okay, this is a waste of time. Not a waste of time, but that there were other priorities that I needed to get to. Hence why I sold so many games to start an Airbnb business, because that was something that was more tangible, it was more important, and it was something that meant more to me than just having a bunch of games on a shelf. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of games in my collection that I have not played yet. Will I play them? Who knows? Will I sell them? Who knows? But I know that the games that I do have are quality titles that I've put a lot of thought into keeping in my collection because they are great games. I would say the obsession compulsion, not so much. I would say more so, I think that I was really attracted to some of the art styles and some of the gameplay styles that I was seeing. But as I was going through, I recognized that, you know what, the older stuff was the stuff that meant a little more to me than like the PS4. So I actually kind of just stopped buying PS4 games altogether. Like I stopped buying games altogether, period. Like I can't, like, yes, will I have a pre-order that comes in every once in a while? Sure. Or if I'm in a game store and I see like a rare PS3 game that I never see in GameStop. Like the other day I was in GameStop and they had Metal Gear Solid. They had the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. Something like that I'm going to pick up because you don't see that every day. Like if I see Splatterhouse for PlayStation 3, I'm going to get that because you don't really see that every day, especially if it's like underpriced, for sure. To me, that's just being smart. But in terms of just buying, no, I don't think that that's the wave right now, especially not in 2024, because prices and values on a lot of things are going down, not up. So now is definitely not the time to engage in anything like that. And so that does it. Hopefully I responded to one of your comments. There's so many. I sat here and did this for about 45 minutes, responded to comments for 45 minutes, gave heartfelt responses. So I'm hoping that this means something to someone out there somewhere. But that does it for me. It's a beautiful afternoon. This is the last video I'm doing for the weekend, but I did owe you guys this one. A couple things before we go. Shout out to the Y2K crew because we hit 1,500 subscribers this weekend. Awesome stuff. So glad to see that we hit the 1,500 mark. I think I said I had a goal this year to hit 2,200 subscribers. I got a feeling that we're gonna blow past that number, just because the community's been strong. The comments have been strong. So thank you for that. Also, I am still working out the giveaway. I know I said I was going to do a 1,500 subscriber giveaway. I just couldn't figure out the rules or how I was going to do it. I know I said giving away an item in my collection worth $150 or less, but still trying to figure out how we're going to put that all together. So be on the lookout for my next video because I'll probably have the details to the giveaway in that. But until then, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out the content. I am the Y2K Collector. Stay warm, folks.